Hi, this is Matt, and today we'll be stringing the Head Graphene Prestige Pro on the Prince Neos 1000 stringer. For our mains, we're going to be using Kirschbaum Max Power Rough 18 gauge, and for our crosses, we'll be using Pacific Natural Gut 16 gauge. Alright, so first to start off, for your main strings to start out, you want to measure out about 18 feet. That's a good amount for a 16 by 19 pattern. If you're going to go maybe in, if you have 18 mains, then you go to maybe about 20 feet, just to compensate for the extra string. First to start off, you're going to look in your the bottom of your string, of your racket, in your throat, and if you see 8 holes down here, right here, if you see 8 holes down here, that means that you're going to start your string at the head of the racket. And if you only see 6 holes down here, you're going to start at the throat. So this racket obviously has 8 here, so we're gonna start off by putting our string through the 2 beginning grommets at the head of the racket. Just line them up straight through, aligning, corresponding with the same grommet on each side. And what you'll have to do after we get these through here is you'll have to check and see if they're lined up, if you have the same amount of string on each side. So there's many different ways you can do it. The way I like to do it is just pull the whole string out and see what you have. So just go all the way out with your string, keep pulling it, then check where you are. Okay, so we're a little short here. So just pull a little string this way here, just to get them lining up. I know there's faster ways to do this, but this is the way I found to work the best. And what you'll find is with your string here, they'll be lining up almost exactly with one another. That means you have the right amount of string on each side. All right, so we'll get started here now. First, what you want to do beforehand is you're going to have to clamp one area before you start. So it's a preference wherever you want to go. I'll start by clamping the left string. So just go up. You can clamp it kind of as close as possible, almost to the end of the one string. So clamp it right up at the top, right here, on your left string. And then you're gonna take it and you're gonna pull tension now with the right string, which is not clamped. So we'll go over here, set the string right in here. I have it at 55 pounds here, and you just pull back, and it will click back. That means it's locked and it's got its tension right there. So now you take your other right clamp here and clamp it down. So it's good. It's locked in place now. You can let go of that now. So push back on this knob back here. Okay. So that's got tension now. Okay. So now you can go through. You can do 2 or 3 mains on each side by switching, alternating back and forth. That prevents the stress on the racket. So only do about 2 mains on one side or 3 mains, and then switch to the other side. So here we got this again. And it's just the same little process every time. Let go right here and clamp right there. Hold on, right there and clamp. Good. All right. So we'll do one more on this side here. It's just a similar process every time. Once you get the hang of it here, it becomes pretty easy. So here again, and pull tension. Good. All right. And there's little knobs here that you can adjust the amount of how much you want it to grip down on the racket, just to hold it in place so it doesn't fall apart. So if you feel like it's moving a little bit too much, just tighten that down there a little bit, just to hold it in place a little bit better. All right. All right. So now we'll go and do the other side now. There's many ways you can do this. You can start right here by pulling tension right here, if you'd like to. So you can start here and pull. there. That'll give you a little more accurate tension instead of going and pulling the next main. So then we let go here. And you're always going to have a little bit of tension drop in the middle of your strings, just how you started with the clamping, because that little part was clamped there at the end. So you're always going to have a little tension drop in the middle. So you start and clamp there. Next, good. Okay. And now you just can keep going. Now we'll keep going on this side now. The 2 or 3 mains on this side, and then we'll go to the next ones. So we're here. Pull it straight through. Come back over here. Hold tension. Good. The mains are fairly simple. Just placing the string through the grommets. It's not really that hard. It's when you get to the crosses where you're more weaving the string through. It takes a little bit more time. Just bring that straight through here. And this is a 16 by 19 string pattern for this racket, so I have 16 mains and 19 crosses. So we're here again. Full tension, good. Do a few more on this side. Just getting the grommets, getting the string through the grommets. It's a tough part here. And then after that, it's fairly simple. Here we go. Right there. Pull back, tension. Good. And when you get closer towards the end, you're going to have points where you're going to have to skip areas on your main strings, because those are going to be occupied by the cross string. So there will be regions where you have to do that, and it varies between rackets and string patterns. So usually, like a Reader's Stringer's Digest or something like that would have those things for you, and you can look it up online, specifics for what holes to skip on your mains and your crosses. All right, so we'll do some on this side now. Through there. Okay. So it's a fairly simple process. Hold tension, good. Here. And clamp. We're almost getting down closer towards the end of the main strings here. And these stringers are a little bit nicer too, because you don't have to do like a drop weight. If some of you have drop weight stringers, they're a little bit harder to use. These are a little bit more convenient. Make stringing a little bit quicker. Just keep stringing through here, plugging away. Good. And when you're clamping too, you make sure you're clamping. I like to go as close as possible to the string here, just so I don't get any as much tension loss. So try to clamp as close as possible to the end grommet where you're pulling tension. And I think this is our 7th one here. Yep. So this is the 7th main here on the racket, right here. This is the 7th main. So we'll get back to this one in a second here to show the skipped holes, but we'll do the other side first just to get everything lined up with one another. So we're on our 6th one here. And everything should be symmetrical on each side too when you're stringing, so you'll know if you didn't skip one hole or not. The string pattern will look a little funny. It looks spread out too much maybe, or maybe too close to one another, depending on where your skipped holes are. So this is the 7th one here as well. Pull that straight through. Okay. Okay. So now we're on our 8th string. So you'll see if you're doing a racket for like a client or something like that, you'll see in the strings here some regions where it looks like it's been pulled more towards, like it would act like a main, and to be pulling towards it, so you can see those stress points, and you can know that it's a main. You can also look for the manufacturer and find the correct holes to skip. But right here, I see where the string's been pulling more and looks closely resembles how a main string would be pulled on. And some strings, some rackets even have little dots to show you where to put the main string in. So as this head one does right here, so we can tell you too. So just to make sure. So this is our 8th string here, main string. On this side, we'll pull back tension. Good. There we go. Sometimes you just get a little jam a little bit. We can have this thing stable on the ground maybe. Okay, so we got that there. Do the 8th on this side now. Pull that through. Same thing, we'll show you a dot where on, at least on this racket, and most brands will show you where to skip, or where to put the 8th string in. Okay, good clamp there. Alright, so now we're ready to do our tie-off knots. And how you do this, most rackets will show you where to put your tie-off knot. Like right here it says main tie-off. So I'm going to put my main through this grommet hole right here. So how you do this is just take your remaining string you have left, make sure you have enough to pull tension. That's why you take about 18 to 20 feet. And you push it through the 7th main. On this case, it will be the 7th main here, and you pull it straight through, pull it all the way straight through, okay, the string. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go under, over, like this. So you have this little loop here, and then you're going to go through. You're going to go through this hole you've made here. You're going to pull back, and you'll see you'll make a nice clean knot. Nothing that's anything that's like bunched up really weird and not pulling tension correctly. It will be a problem. And you can even see you'll have some string like this sticking out when you're doing it. If you see here, you might not be able to see clearly on the video here, but there'll be some string sticking out of the side of your grommet too, showing that it's a little bit loose. And so when you're pulling tension here, there's several ways you can do this. You can just go a little bit, you can just push it back just a little bit when you want and nudge it along. Just so if you're going at higher tensions, a little bit tougher. But if you're pulling it around lower tensions, mid-50s, you can almost just go and have it till the stringer clicks right back and forth. So just have that pull back and click if you're not going at too high of a tension or too delicate of a string. Then you let go on that, and you're going to do it 2 times. So now we're going to go over, under, through again. So you can go over, under, like this, make our loop here, and then we go through this string, and then we pull right there. And now same thing, take the string and pull tension here. Good. Let go. Alright, so this is we have our remaining string here. We can cut it off now. And how much you want to do for this is you want to cut it off short enough where it's not too long. I wouldn't want to cut it off obviously right here. You don't want to cut it off too short where the grommet, the knot would actually come undone and the string would go through the grommet. So we're just going to cut a little closer here, but not too close where it could fall off or unravel. So right there, that's a good length there. So now let's do the other side now. So same thing, put your string through it might say main tie-off, a region. The grommets might actually be bigger in that region too because they've been opened up, because they've been used so much too. So now we'll do the same thing here. So we go over, under, like this. We've made our hole here, and then we'll go through that hole like this. Okay, made our knot here. Pull tension. There we go, good. Let go. Same thing again. Over, under, and then through the existing hole we made. right there. Good. Pull tension back. That's the nice thing about the stringer. You can actually use it to pull your tie-off knots off. You don't have to use your hand as much to grip. And if you're doing a lot of rackets, you'll know you'll start having some sore forearms and everything. So start right here and then cut it off at a good length. That's good right there. All right. So once you're done with the mains here that we're done, we can unclamp. We can unclamp both sides. Unclamp both sides here. Good. All right. So now we got our 16 pattern here. You can set one of your clamps down here, and now we're going to take it and put your clamp on the opposite side now, because you're obviously doing the crosses now. Starting like this, you have to just latch it onto the hooks we have here. And if this stringer could be stable on the floor, I could probably get it. All right, so got that there now. So it moves back side to side like that, up and down. Okay, so now we'll start doing our crosses now. Like I said earlier, we're going to be using our Pacific Natural Gut 16 gauge. So we'll open it up here. Now with Natural Gut, it's a little tougher to string. It kinks more easily, but it's well worth it after you've strung it up in your racket. So just cut off the ending here. You can use like pliers or tweezers or something like that just to get this end piece off here. Just take it and just try to get that the plastic piece off. So that's good there. Got that off. Okay, so now when we take the string here, it's gonna really easily kink on you. So just try to really just unravel it lightly. Try to get it undone. It's already starting to kink really easily. So this is why you got to be really careful with it, undoing it. There we go. Just really getting everything unraveled. Nice and easy. Don't want anything to kink. Okay, good. All right, so we got it undone here, and now what we're going to do is we're going to measure out so many feet. Just because I'm going with Natural Gut here, I'm probably going to play a little safe and give a little bit more string, just in case I have some problems with the fraying of it as I'm stringing it through, weaving it through so many times. So how you measure this out, a racket's about 27 inches. So you can take maybe 7.5 racket lengths, give you a good amount of string. You can go about 8, feel safe. You'll probably have at least a lot of string left over, but it's better than having too little when you're starting. So if you have like a package or something like that, yeah, you can just go 20 feet, 20 feet on both, because it's not going to make a difference. But if you have like a reel, you're trying to save some money. So let's start here. Let's measure out like 7.5 about lengths of here. So we'll go 1 here. Good. There we go. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll go about 7.5 right there. So that's a good amount right there. You can kind of give it a little bit more if you'd like to do like I did there. And then when you're cutting these off, you really got to make sure you get it so it doesn't fray as much. Try to get a clean cut when you're cutting it. Good. So set that other string aside here that you weren't using before. Try to put that back in the I like to put it back in the plastic that it came in. Try to close it up, because any moisture for the string is definitely not good for Natural Gut. So let's go ahead and let's string this with the crosses here now. So we'll start off here. Just with this racket, we have the It says cross tie off. So this is where you can start your cross if you'd like. And this is where I'm going to start it. We'll start right here, and we'll go through. So you just push your string through there. If you're having difficulty getting the string through, you can definitely take your awl and try to push through and try to make it a little bit bigger for your string to get through if you're having trouble. And take a little bit of string out, not too much, enough to get it so you can make enough loops. So that, I mean, that's about a good amount right there, if you can see. And what you're going to do is you're going to go through this. I like to make a bulk knot when I'm doing this to start off. The reason why you don't do any tie off or start off knots like you did with the mains here at the end is because they put tension on the main string when you're done pulling on them. These don't put as much tension on the string because they're more bulk, just to hold in place so they don't slip through the ground hole. Alright, so let's string this now. So it's a similar pattern I like to do. I just like to go under, over, under, over, under, over. So like about three times through here. And you're going to pull that string through like this. And I like to bring it back. I like to bring it back through and just try to bring it through every single hole that you did. So every single area that you did an over under, try to bring it through every time with a hole here. And you get towards the end and you just bring that through one more time like this. And it's a little more difficult with the natural gut tennis string because it likes to kink a little bit more on you. So like I have here, I think I kind of messed it up, kind of switched the bulk up a little bit, but it will tend to really kink up a little bit. So it's really important. It's really important to try to get it to do it right here. So we'll try it again. Natural gut, yeah, it's a really tough string. You don't really want to break it. It costs a lot of money. So just try to bring it through every single one of those holes that you made through there. Good. So I made the knot there. You can see, you can't really see it this far, but go over, under, over, under, over, under. So obviously 3 times, going through and try to go through every single little hole you made there, and then pull tension. And the way you would pull tension here is taking the string right here, and then going back, and then pull it just a little bit until you get it. You don't have to necessarily pull straight through, but enough to tighten it up enough or it's not going to slip through. Because if you pull it the whole way, obviously with that tension you're really pulling, it might go straight through, and you don't obviously want that. So once you have that knotted up there, take your string, cut a little bit off, and push that down. So when I do it, the end string you cut off is almost lining up with the main string right here. So it lines up pretty nicely. So let's string our racket now with some natural gut now. How we're going to start this, you want to try to be really careful with the gut here. So you can break pretty easily. Already from tying that knot off here, you'll see that you'll see some white spots in your natural gut when you're doing it. That's just the stress. That's how easily some stress can be put on, and how easily you can break or fray. So how you're going to do this? You're going to start off in your first cross. It's going to be near your cross start off point, and you're going to place a string through here. And if you're having trouble getting it through because there's going to be an occupying main trying to hold that place as well, try to push it through a little bit. If that's unsuccessful, take your awl out again and give it a go. When you weave, you can start off any way you like. You can start under the main first, or you can go over the main first. It doesn't really matter. We'll do under here, just a personal preference. So we'll go under first here. You're going to take your string, and this is kind of like called a snake method. You're going to take your string here, and you're going to hold it like this, and one hand on the other end, like this. And then you're going to weave it up and down through the string. And you'll probably have some trouble with this, especially with the natural gut because how it kinks up. But just try weaving the string through the racket until you get to your corresponding cross over here. And just push that string straight through. Just push that string straight through. And you'll see right now, having trouble because this main is occupying the hole where the cross is. So you got to just try to push down the main string and try to push that through. Good, almost. So it's really, especially with this natural gut, it's pretty tough to get through. All right, and once you get that done, if you only get a little bit of ways, you can take your pliers here, and we can pull the string through the racket. And how I like to, when I'm pulling this string, I don't like just to pull it straight through. You get like some friction burn when you're doing that. Even though there's no tension, I like to pull the string out here, and then pull it back a little bit. Pull the string out right here, pull it out, just to make just a little nicer. Just pulling it out a little bit, and then pulling. Not as much tension here. You'll obviously see that you're putting on the string, and you can see how easily this string is kinking already. Good. Nice, easy pulls. Nothing going really slow here because it's natural gut. Nothing too major. So then right here, and you can pull through ending. All right. So you got our first string here. What you can do, you can string the first cross if you'd like. You can just go and pull tension on it. Another way is just to go to the second one, and the reason you just go to the second one and pull tension for both of them is that if your bulk knot is not good enough, it might pull straight through if you're just going on that first one. But we'll give it a go here, and we'll just pull on the first one just to get a more accurate tension. So we'll pull here at 55. Good. So if you're stringing even tighter things with thinner gauge strings, it's going to be a lot tougher for this to make that bulk knot. So once you have that, you can clamp your string now closest to your string. Your strings may open up a little bit, but that's fine because you're going to be putting it through another hole the next time. And a way to check and see if your string's in line correctly, you see if you started with an under, it's not going to be necessarily on the case here. It's going to you're going to end with an under. We end with an under. But here we started with an over because we didn't go. I mean, we ended with an over because we didn't go through all the grommets. We only went through 16 of them. Okay, so let's do the next cross now. So now we're going to be doing a cross on the full bed of the string. So we're going to start here on your next corresponding cross. And you're going to start with over. You're going to start with over, and then go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Just a little. Just think of like weaving something, and it's pretty straightforward. Then we'll go through here one more, like that. All right. And now we're going to bring our string through here, your next grommet hole. Good. And now we'll pull tension again. I mean, not pull tension. Pull the string through lightly, nice and easy. Nice and easy. We're not trying to pull or anything, trying to rip anything, going too fast here. You'll find out if you don't treat the gut well, it won't treat you well on the court, and it won't treat you well while you're stringing it. So you got to take some effort and some care to string this. And then you got to straight here. It's going to become a little difficult when you start pulling tension there. You can even hear that with the tension pulling through there. So it was a little difficult there, pulling that tension through, but it's okay. And now we'll start, and we'll pull this next thing right here. Pull the string down. Tension, boom, good. When you're stringing as well, you can do different poundages if you like. Things that, if you want to go a different poundage, like go 55 and then 57 maybe, it opens up the string pattern a little bit and helps your just gives you different variety for the game. All right, so we clamp there on the second one. Good. Let go of the tension. All right. Now we're here on our third cross. This is taking extra time. If you had like a polyester, you could kind of just go straight through this, like really just go really fast because that string is a little more durable. And with this string and any other multi-filament, you probably want to take a little more time with those because they're just a little more fragile and need a little more time. So right here we got that. Now let's pull our string through, nice and easy. Pull it down, bring it up. Just prevents the string from getting a little too much tension on it here. And you'll see it's already starting to kink up pretty easily because I'm not taking enough time here to make sure it's not undoing. So starting here, good. We'll pull through, nice and easy. You don't want any grinding or anything. It's nice and easy. Good. You get that through there. Good, like that. Nice. Okay. Now we're going to pull tension again. Same thing. And you can check with your strings here too. So on my first cross, I had an under here. And then on my next cross, it better be an over to make sure that I'm weaving it correctly. What will happen if you're not weaving it correctly, you'll see that the string tension will be really loose with these strings. It'll feel really loose. So we got that here. Now let's pull tension. And the natural gut's a little more elastic too, so it's really going to pull and stretch out. So we got that strung here. We'll do our clamp right here. You can do it probably as close as you want, almost to the grommet at the end. You don't really want to make your string stretch out as much as I did maybe on the first few here, but as little as possible when you're stretching out those strings, just so you don't get as much tension lost. Okay. So now we'll string our next cross here. Same pattern. Like this. Over, under. Same thing, using the snake method. One hand's going to be on top of the racket, one hand's going to be on the bottom. Using your index or middle finger, whatever you have a preference for. And you push it straight through that next cross here. Good, got that. Now same thing. So it's kind of repetitive. The only main things you really have to work on when you're stringing is working on your tie-off knots and your cross-string bulk knots. Those are the main things, and just knowing where to string in the racket. The other process isn't as hard. It's just a tedious task to do. And you'll see it's already kinking up here, so we got to make sure we don't unravel this too much. So so you just try to. It's really fragile, really fragile. And if you just rip it through or try to muscle it through there, it'll probably have a really big white spot, and that will really damage the integrity of the string here. So you can almost hold it out like that if you want, and pull through. That's another little way to hold it, just to get it to come through, so nothing really kinks up. Then once you have that one, that's good about right there. Pull that a little bit more. It's just going to become tight right here because you have all that. Because you have it all tight like that. It's just going to become tight. So you're going to have to kind of pull it through at the ending there. So we got that through here. Now let's pull tension again. Pull back, pull tension. Good. And another thing when you're doing these cross strings, you'll see if you're just going pulling away, you probably want to push your string up a little bit too to line that up in that same plane. It's going to be down a little bit when you're pulling, because you see how I'm pulling here. It's pulling at that more of an angle. When you're starting to pull straight on, it's not going to matter. But just get in the habit of doing that, just to make everything lining up good right here. So we have that right there, perfect. And we're going to take our string. We'll clamp right here. Let's cause the minimum amount of main movement. Good. Clamp down. Good. Got our strings there. And we can check again too. We have an over here and an under there, so that means we're weaving correctly. All right. So now we're on our next cross. You can see how the crosses obviously take more time because of this the weaving factor you have to do into them. Especially on rackets that have a larger string pattern, a denser string pattern. You can see those take a little bit more time, obviously, because you have more strings to string. So we'll just go through and we'll string here. It's pretty simple, pretty simple. Go through, same process as before. And just pull through nice and easy. Make sure your string isn't kinking up anywhere when you're going through. See, it's already starting to. So it's just little things. You probably won't have to worry about this as much when you're stringing like a polyester or something for somebody or yourself. That's not the issue. It's just when you're starting to string, if you want to try the natural gut out sometime, it's a really good string. Works really well. The only thing bad about it is the price. But you look at where you value your performance based on your string, I guess. And you pull it through here, so we're grinding a little bit, but that's all right here. So that's good. We got that set up. We'll pull back here. Pull tension. Good. Got that right there. Push it back a little bit just to line it up. All right. So now let it go here. Clamp down here now. Just lining it up so you don't want to move those mains as much. There you go. Line it up right there. Clamp it down. And you'll see, if you have it too tight, you'll see little white marks start coming up on your natural gut string when you're doing it. So just make sure that that's not occurring when you're stringing this racket. So let's do the next one now. We're only 5 through, so it's going to takes a little bit of time for this natural gut. If I had like a polyester, as I said, or something, a synthetic gut, go a little bit faster with it. But since you have this natural gut here, you want to take your time. So just going through here. And pull, nice and easy. And even you can do this to give less stress on the racket. When you're pulling, pull closer at the grommet here, and you'll see string coming up like this. Just pull closer at the grommet, and that'll put a little less stress as well. What I wasn't doing before, you can pull here a little bit. That will cause less stress through the grommet. So then you have this giant right here, and all you have to do is just pull it through. It just makes it a little easier. You just want to keep everything nice and light when you're pulling. You don't want any string that's really causing any problems as much. So we'll pull through here. Good. And we'll keep pulling. Yep. So that's good there. Good. Okay. Now we'll pull tension again. Good. Push it up a little bit. And you see those strings probably been moving before. All right. So we clamp our racket down again here, closest to the grommet as possible to minimize tension loss. And we'll keep plugging away here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes when you're doing the snake method as well, you might have trouble stringing it through. You might not be getting enough leverage with it. So sometimes you can just go like this, alternating and pulling a little of the string out, like this I have here, and then just taking the string and going over and under. So that's like a simplified, modified version. It takes a little bit more time, but it makes it a little easier. And then we just pull through here gently, nice and easy, making sure for no kinks, anything catching on the stringer here, watching the string. Good. And see, it will start probably being a little bit tight here when you're holding it. So you want to just pull it just a little bit through like that. Pull it a little bit. There we go. Good. And this thing I said about maybe maximizing, you don't want to maximize the tension loss. You might want to pull it back a little bit, maybe, so you have a little bit more slack here when you're doing it. So it's just, maybe it's more of a personal preference thing, maybe. But I definitely think I might be putting a little bit too much stress on the natural gut when I do that. So we'll go here, we'll clamp down, boom, right there. Good, and we'll just keep going along here. You can start looking at your string and checking. You're starting to damage it a little bit. It's gonna happen when you're going through it. It's just gonna naturally get these strings up here are gonna look a little more clear, a little bit better. And once you get down a little bit lower, you're gonna see a little more white maybe, because it's just how you're going through it. There's some natural wear and tear on it when you're stringing it through. There's no doubt about that. So give yourself a few trial runs, maybe with some multi-filaments first before you go into natural gut, just to make sure, because you don't want to break. You wouldn't want to break a natural gut set that's like $30 or $40 than a multi-filament that's about 15 or 16. So just give yourself some time to practice that. So yeah, so the natural gut isn't very, I would say, user or stringer friendly, but it's definitely user friendly. I think that's the best way to explain it. I mean, it has great qualities on court, but it takes a while to string. Takes a little bit more time and effort than just stringing a polyester or a multi. So here we got that. Let that go. You know, keep checking yourself here if everything's lining up too when you're stringing. All right, good. And I'll just keep going along. Might seem like it's taking forever, but I'm just taking my time here with the string because I don't want any problems to occur. Just pulling it straight through. Going over and under, keeping that same pattern here. And going through, good. Nice and easy pulls here. There's going to be a little tension there when you're pulling through, just because of the tension that's on these main strings. And what you're doing, you've already have these crosses here, so you're already pushing down and pushing up. So there's already some tension here, and you're trying to pull it over that tension. So that's why you might encounter some more force. You might have to pull just a little bit more over on those sides. I mean, there's no doubt about it, when you're putting the string through the racket, it's going to be some stress on it when you're pulling it through. And if you have to do some retensioning in areas, just keep that in mind. So we're just taking our time here, going real slow. Same pattern here. Using our snake method for our stringing. Good there. Just check everything lines up. So over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Yep, got it. Push it through the next grommet here. Good. Yep, and like I said, yep, making sure you're not being clumsy with the string anywhere, holding out anywhere differently. Straight here, just pull it through, nice and easy. You see, and this takes a little more care to do. See how that pulled back? So I'm definitely pulling too much, maybe a little bit. That's why you're seeing these little friction burns maybe on the string here when we're doing it, when we're stringing through. But that's probably from having that a little bit too far. So we're always learning and making corrections. But this is more of an intro to stringing for beginners and learning how to string. For the first time, maybe on a pullback stringer. See this? These are the standard stringers most people have. At your typical tennis club or anything like that, they might have an electronic one as well. But these are the in-between, I would say, from a drop weight and electronic, about this half, in between in the price range as well, opposed to like a tabletop pullback or some of that measure. So we take here, just keep going through. See, I'm going and just doing a little pattern, different pattern this time, so the snake method, just pulling out a little string. And you'll start seeing with your string, if you start seeing it starts to get really white, or starts getting, looks like it's about to fall apart, that means you are jeopardizing string here from stringing it through. So it takes a while. I mean, you gotta be really professional to make sure that your natural gut, when you're stringing it through, you're not ruining it at all. So it just takes some effort. We'll get it here, okay. We'll pull tension. Good there. All right. So normally with a regular string, it'd probably take you around, first if you're a beginner for it, might take you, 1 to 2 hours maybe. But once you start really getting advanced, it'll, bring it down to 40 even, or even down to 20 once you get really good. But when you're doing natural gut, you want to take some extra time, maybe take 5-10 more minutes when you're doing this cross. When you're doing these crosses, you'll probably be putting in it just in the crosses for a hybrid player. If the person's looking for a full bed of natural gut, that's obviously going to take even way more time. But if you're stringing for a client, you want to make sure you're extra careful. Whereas if you're stringing for yourself, even though you probably would want it at a customer standard, it doesn't have to be as perfect, I would say, based on your standards. So we're just going to take the string, do our same thing. Long, tedious process. Okay, here and pull through. You'll see that the end of your string too, as well, right here. You'll see that it's starting to become a little white, or become a little bit white. And that means that it's just because you're using it to push through the grommets all the time. And if it comes out comes a little bit too much frayed at the end when you're done, just snip a little bit of it off, and that will like refreshen the tip for you so it doesn't get frayed out, and you have to get it in the fully get it in the grommet there. So we'll finish out here. There. Good. I don't know why the hell we're on incline here, but keep stringing away. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more crosses to string through, and I think I have enough string. Just keep going through. Same process every time, making sure you're weaving correctly. You don't want any mistakes, especially with natural gut, if you had to pull the string back through after you see you make a mistake. So make sure you're going through the right one every time. Got that good. Here, now pull through. And we'll pull tension. So it's a fairly simple process, as I've stated before. This isn't really more of the important parts here, because you hopefully by now know how to weave the string. So it's obviously just the basis of the stopping and starting, where most people have their struggles of getting the string situated. Because once you're going, I mean, anyone can weave through it. Anyone can place the string and pull tension. That's not the hard part. It's just stringing the racket, making sure the correct spots, doing your knots correctly, making sure nothing is kinking or anything. And the good thing about stringing, having a little bit more string too with your natural gut, is if you'll find if your string, when if you're pulling tension, and you'll find with your string that it starts to get really bad towards the end, you can just cut off a little bit of that, and then have a fresh piece when you're pulling through in tension. So we're almost done here. Got a little bit more to go. You can put the clamp anywhere you'd like. Really, this is only going to be about 20 seconds maybe to just put the string back through another grommet. Push it through here. Good. Do our same weaving pattern. Under, push it straight through. Like I can see even on this natural gut here, it's starting to weaken a little bit at the bottom, so I'll probably cut that in a bit. First we'll take if you have like a little end, you can't get the rest out, just try pulling it through like that with that a little bit. Now pull tension. And when you get down here as well, there's going to be obviously more tension when you're pulling this string through. Just you'll find that when you're pulling here, just a little bit more. You have to just pull slightly to get it through the racket. Just a little bit more. Okay. So we'll keep going here. Pulling tension. Good. Push that up. Good. Alright, almost done. 3 more crosses. So like I said before, if you find anywhere where you're like a string feels really loose, not the same as the other tensions of your crosses, then that means you either strung it, didn't weave it correctly through. That would cause the tension loss. So that'd probably be the main factor. Or if you're stringing maybe 2 strings at once, I mean, you can do that, but won't be as accurate if you just pull through as just with 1 string at a time. So you can already see here that the string is fraying towards the end, because that's where most of the stress is being put on it. So we'll probably cut a little bit of that off once we get through the last few here. This is natural gut. And here, make sure that it doesn't kink like that. You can pull that down a little bit. So you see as that just kinked now, just undoing it, trying to hold it in place. You'll just find that there's more tension right here when you're pulling through towards the end. So here. Good. Alright. Now we'll pull tension. Good. And needless to say, it's not going to really matter here at the bottom of your string pattern. It's not going to. It doesn't really matter if it's full, if it's at the best quality as more of the top or the lower, because this is a low percentage amount of balls being hit down here, the lower the string bed. So you're not definitely. If it looks too bad here, it's not going to really totally jeopardize your game. Most hitters are finding hitting the top of the string pattern here, more at the top. So take extra care stringing those at the bottom, at the top, but still maintain a good stringing effort throughout. Go here. Under, and we'll get that through that main here, and we'll pull through, just grabbing that end just a little bit, trying to grab that end. There we go. Pull through. Good. Keep pulling. Yep, you'll just find that you'll have some trouble here stringing that when you're pulling through. So just more tension down here. So you're getting those last few strings in. Yeah, so this is a critical part where you really want to make sure you're not getting lazy or ruining the strings at all here. This is just where it really matters, because if you get to the end and you break across or something like that, it's not good at all. Good. Okay, so you got good. We got one more cross here. So I'm going to cut off a little bit at the end because this is getting weakened here. So you can just cut a little snip off if you'd like. Make sure you get a nice clean cut when you're cutting it. And we'll go through here. So now we're only going through 14 mains now. I got to cut it off a little bit more. And there we go. That's good. All right. Yep, see, you can starts to unravel here, so it's got to be more of a diagonal cross cut rather than just a straight on. Which I can't get it to go in. Try that out. Through that last grommet hole here. Having a hard time getting it through. It's not going. Alright, there we go. You can always take your awl too to help you pull that, or if you only have a little bit, take your tweezers here and pull that through. So we're going to go under here then. You're going to change up your, you're going to change up and act like you're starting on this string rather than if you're going to just, like over here we were always starting, we started under here at the top, we were always starting, with the over, I believe. So this time you're going under first, then just go through and take the same pattern and go through it. So you can see the string's already starting to fall apart here through all the stringing. But as long as you get the majority, and as long as you get this string in there, that counts. That's all that matters. Start here. This is breaking again, you can see, so we'll just cut off a little bit more at a better spot. That's why it's always good to have a little bit more string than what you need. And that's probably going to be a little too weak too, so we got to cut off a little bit more. We'll go down to a little less whiter spot here. We'll cut off. And we'll go through. And take our pointers here, tweezers, pull back. So this is the last cross here. Give it a pull through here. It's going to really probably start kinking up on you here because this is the last one. It's going through all this stress here. Good. So we got that in there. It's good. Now we're going to pull tension here on this last one. Good. All right. And here, clamp down there as close as you can to the grommet. All right, now so you're going to do just a standard tie-off knot when you're stringing your racket here. You're going to go towards, we'll say cross tie-off here. So just go towards the area or one of the bigger grommets where you can stick the string in. And you might have to cut off more of the natural gut if it's fraying. Which it is quite considerably here. And try to push that through there. So we have our string, same thing as before with the starting knot. You pull it all the way through, okay? And then just do our simple standard over-under through here. So over. And it's a little bit harder here too because you have that clamp in the way when you're doing this. So we have our over here, and that's our under, and then we go through this hole that we made, like this, through the hole. Right there through. And with the natural gut here, you want to make really sure, be really cautious with pulling here and watching it. Watch it pull. You don't have to go necessarily go all the way with it, especially if you're stringing at a higher tension. So same thing, under or over under. So it's over first, under here. There we go. And see, we've made this hole right here. We go through that. See, through this and through. And good, and now we're going to pull tension now again. Pull, good. Let go. All right. You'll see I had a little bit too much string here, finishing off. Probably only need about a foot. This is about 2 feet, maybe 2 to 2.5 feet. So just you can keep that in mind. This is for the purposes of this video. I want to have extra just in case. So we'll start here. And we'll cut off at the ending here, making sure we don't cut off too close. And we unclamp the strings, and pull this back a little bit. Undo this, you can undo that. Another thing you can also check before you take your racket off is lining up all the mains and crosses on the string. So pushing the mains a little bit if they've been moved during the cross stringing. Good, and moving those crosses as well, moving those down, just lining everything up, because for your customer you want to be giving them something that looks nice. You don't want strings everywhere. You want it to look straightened and nice. So check that over first here like this. Undo, take off the things, and you got your racket. So that is how to string a racket intro for beginners on a Prince Neos 1000.